Tell me I'm not the only one who noticed that Paul McCartney had a actual beetle on this album and also a ram, or shall I say a sheep, which was a representative of his second album where he came out dissing John Lennon. Tell me I'm not the only one who noticed that. So, Paul McCartney, multi instrumentalist, one of the most famous people in the world, the richest musician, I think, even after his pegweg bitch of a wife took half his money. He's still a billionaire or multi billionaire, also the most successful writer in history. Best left handed performer, and a person who started one of the most successful and the most successful band in the world, the Beatles, or at least he didn't start it. I think he was like the main writer or whatever throughout the band. Have just came out with his newest album, which is Egyptian Stadium, which I believe was named after a painting of his he either painted or had. And this kind of looks like a little bit of amateur painting elements, especially with the guy who's painted and what seems to be a what you call it, a cape on, or a cape that's have blue dots on it, and what seems to be a dog sun throughout the cover. There's a lot of suns on this cover. Now, the album starts out with opening Stadium and 2, which, are sequel pieces. And opening Stadium have what seems to be a recording of Traffic, and 2 have him, I guess, warming up and preparing to perform because his guitar leads into Hunt You Down, a 6-minute epic, which is the end of the album. Which goes to show you, because I wasn't bored, I usually don't like long songs, which goes to show you if you are a good lyricist and instrumentalist, you can have as long as songs as you want to and still keeps your audience attention. Now, you have a lot of referencing to nature, like on a song like I Don't Know, where he referenced the dogs barking and the birds chirping. And Paul does the what's the worst thing that could happen really line or cliche, where he says that where his brother says that life is not about pain, and then it starts to rain on him, which again is a little cliche and stuff like that. And it happens throughout TV shows and movies, and I thought that that was a pretty nice thing. Also, on the album cover, you can see clouds, so yeah, that's nice. On Confidant, you get a whisked away to a imaginary world where Butterfly wear boots, a little odd referencing, but still, I love the whole idea of the magicalness of this world that he built up with his confidant, imaginary friend, etc. You even get more heart settling references to love in a song like Caesar's Rock, which I wish could have been named Peter or maybe Dwayne Johnson, because it would have been a much more awesomer referencing The Rock. But we have a woman who holds a person down, steady and grounded throughout the track. Paul describing this woman. And Caesar's Rock may be a reference to the Florida Islands, which I think is next to the Florida Keys, which bears the same name. Paul been around the world, especially on a track like Back in Brazil, which, is a nice track. First, Paul was back in the USSR. Now he's back in Brazil. And I wish the song had a more Brazilian vibe when it comes to the instrumental. Hell, I wish this album could have favored more Middle Eastern or Arab production, since his name Egyptian Stadium. But at least he keeps the consistency up when it comes to referencing nature, as he's saying the nights are for dancing and then the days are for the sun, which I guess he's talking about fun in the sun, because it's not really that much of a good, concisive, complementary referencing when it comes to the contrast, but still. He also plants the idea of, the clouds showing images of them, like very nice, a very nice explanation and use of the elements to convey how you're feeling emotionally. This is a person who also made Mother Nature's Son and a whole bunch of songs referencing elements. So I like that he keeps that in his discography. Also, he referenced Ichiban, which is a Japanese word for being number one, which Brazil, it has a huge Asian and Japanese population. So I really like that he referenced that word. And just like Hand in Hand, this song has a killer flute solo. Now, the piano passages on People Want Peace and also I Don't Know kind of reminds me of a John Lennon Imagine feel, you know, which could be intentional and could be like a nod to John Lennon, but still, it kind of gets a little tiring. And also, People Want Peace a little bit reminds me of All We Are Saying, Give Peace a Chance. And blunt, hand fisted messages happen all throughout the track, such as Who Cares, which is, I should say, the meanest anti hater song since Kesha's Bastards, and the nicest anti bully song since JoJo's Boomerang, I should say. Happy With You have a reference to quitting substances and alcohol because you found a love, which after the whole Mac Miller death, it really means something to me because Mac Miller, after Ariana dumped him, he went back to drugs, or at least started using heavier after Ariana broke his heart. So yeah. Now you have more coy tracks like Come On To Me, which I have to say is a confirmative consent classics, and much more aggressive tracks like F You, which you ever heard of Dad Rock? This is just like dubstep. And it's kind of like why your grandfather shouldn't discover electro music. It sounds like that Paul McCartney died and his soul haunted the booth with the whole you little thing that he does on the whole hook. It gets pretty annoying to say the truth. A track like Do It Now seems like a time is of the essence, don't waste your youth, grandfathering wisdom type of track. And a song like Dominoes seems just like a domino, just a placeholder, and not really unique on its own. I like repeated warnings and how it start out all grumpy and very unoptimistic. Then towards the middle to the end of the track, you have him being more happy-go-lucky and very free-spirited with his whole idea and mindset. And Hunt You Down have a very nice guitar lick that's added with these horns that just make it gorgeous and loveful, are just very, very, very nice. So also with its whole guitars solo that kind of sounds like it was blues and just Delta blues inspired. I really like how it ends the track off. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a 6. You know, it was a very good album, very passable album for a um, rock legend like this one. Please like, subscribe, share the video, and I'm out.